Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, Andrew.
Where should we go now?
Oh,
How about The Creature from the Pit? It's a real pulp sci-fi name, isn't it? You know, you could imagine that being some 50s sort of B-movie.
It is actually, yes. It's very reminiscent of a sort of 50s B-movie title.
But that is sort of the point.
Yes.
Because I think it was Terry Walsh said at a convention once that he and Myra, is it Myra Francis?
Myra Francis, yeah.
Could hardly stop laughing when you get lines like, we call it the pit.
Mm.
And they thought this was silly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's meant to be silly, that's the thing. And, it's... Some people have said this is very much like, I think, the Star Trek episode Devil in the Dark, where you've got this creature sort of underground that's misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
And in Star Trek, the creature is sort of grateful at the end, and in Doctor Who, the creature is just cross. Which sums up the difference between Star Trek and Doctor Who, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, very atmospheric. The jungle stuff, shot on film.
Very well done.
Christopher Barry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great set design.
Yes.
And it just feels real again.
Yeah.
It's not quite up there with Planet of Evil, but it's a damn sight better than some other sort of TV studio jungles you could mention. Mm-hmm. So again, people sort of say that this season looks a bit cheap, but not at this point. It's not.
No. The further you get into it, it does a little bit.
But then this is the first story actually to be recorded, I think. Because Lana Ward says she's still trying to play it a bit like Mary Tam.
Yeah, she's quite imperious.
Yeah, trying to be a bit sort of floaty and
Yes.
And as she says, that's not really her.
No,
you know, so it's not the way she sort of ends up playing it. But I like the idea that there's a planet where there's very little metal. That's quite a nice sort of sci-fi world building idea.
Yes.
It's one of those things, though, if you follow it through completely, the actual sort of people that live on the planet might not look like a normal human being, because they might be extremely sort of pale, for instance, because their blood might be different or something like that. Because if there's almost no metal on the planet,
they won't have iron in their blood.
They wouldn't have so much iron in their blood or something like that. So it's an interesting thing. Is that it's a good idea, but it's not necessarily followed. You could follow that through actually
a lot more,
a bit more, and you'd probably do that in a book, but not on Doctor Who on telly, because you might confuse people.
Yes.
But yes, we've got the two ladies. So we said about Myra, but she's giving a very powerful performance.
She is.
And then you've got Eileen Way as well.
Eileen Way, yes. Who's just marvellous.
Great to see her.
Yes.
Come back.
Yes. Looking very different.
Well, I was going to say she doesn't look like she's aged much.
No, I don't mean she's aged. She just looks obviously completely different as a character.
Yeah.
But, it's great. And then of course, Jeffrey Bowden.
Yeah.
There is no story in the world that he's not improved by Jeffrey Bowden.
You think he should have been in every Doctor Who story?
He could, yes. He'd have been very tired, bless him.
But yeah, I mean, the creature, yes, is an unusual idea. Then you just have the problem of realising it. And there are some scenes, I think some of the model scenes look really, really good, because there's some shots where the Doctor's really small and you've got this huge, great big thing in the background. When you've got the thing with its proboscis coming, hang on, let's make it fatter, coming around the corner, there we are, like that. That's emu, isn't it?
Yes, doesn't do that.
But yes, I can understand people in the gallery being a little shocked, especially if that's the first time they'd seen it. But your phone just went off.
Sorry.
Was that BBC News?
No, it's my tablet, yes.
BBC News sending you information.
There's a breaking news story.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't remember being scared of it as such, but I did find it... Yeah, I wasn't appalled at the creature at the time. Not even the bits which now do look a bit bit rude. But I like the idea of the translator as well. That's interesting. But again, it's never really covered in the original series. There's the line in Mask of Mandragora about it's a Time Lord gift I let you share. But yeah, the idea you have to hold on to this thing to use your vocal cords to translate what the creature's got to say is a neat idea.
It's
as
interesting,
well.
and it makes it truly alien.
Yeah.
And I love the way, I mean, Lala does it and Myra Francis does it, that when they're holding onto the translator, they've got the hand on their throat because that voice, the voice that's coming out isn't them speaking, it's somebody else using their vocal cords.
The end of part 3, is it the end of part 3 cliffhanger when she's sort of shouting and
she's terrified.
That's played for real. Yes,
and she's. I mean, I've seen Myra Francis in a few things because she's obviously in Survivors.
Yeah,
and she's in at least one episode of Angels that I've seen, and she's very good in each part she plays.
Yeah.
But she's really a very hissable villain in this. You really sort of don't want her to get the upper hand, do you?
Yeah. I mean, the neutron star stuff and sort of wrapping it up in silver foil. Again, I'm not going to shake the science too much in case it all falls apart. But again, some nice model work. The actual sort of spaceship lifting off and sort of going through space is nicely done. And giving sort of Jeffrey. Doesn't he get the last scene as well after the TARDIS has gone? So that's nice. But I mean, it was at this point that sort of Tom and Graham Williams have sort of had a bit of a set to, isn't it? That Tom had basically sort of sent his letter of resignation
again.
More seriously this time, I think. So there is some sort of tension behind the scenes, but I don't think it shows on screen at all.
Not at all, no.
So a pretty good one again, and not bad at all. The book's quite fun as well, actually, because David Fisher writes his own books in this period, and, they're highly recommended.
Because he did a new version, didn't he?
No, he did Stones of Blood because Terrence Dicks did it originally, and. But the original ones he did were Creature from the Pit and Leisure Hive, and they've got loads of notes. There's little asterisks and notes down below about certain things, things that aren't mentioned on screen, sort of little bits of history or information about the planet. So it's quite hitchhikersy in the way it's done. So right. Currently showing as we speak.
Yes.
Nightmare of Eden. With my CET machine, the continuous event transmuter. No, that wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. That's as good as Louis Fionda's.
As my impressions go.
Sure.
And you've just got that bloke from Coronation Street with a big hat on.
Yes, and Peter Craze.
Yes. Yeah. But what do you think of Nightmare then?
It's interesting.
Okay.
It looks at first to be quite a light-hearted story and quite fun, and will develop as the episodes go in something quite dark.
Yeah, I mean it's a very serious subject matter, and you're having to be careful about how you handle it.
Yes,
because I think the drug was originally called something like Zip. Or like XYP or something. I think Lala Ward objected, saying that's too nice a name for it.
Yes.
That you want
it to be called.
So it becomes Raxoin. It's not. Of course, it's not glorifying drugs or anything like that. But the name Zip might have caught on with kids or something. I think that was the thought. So. People are being careful with how they're handling this. And Tom is really, really cross at the end, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I mean, he's because obviously Trist is trying to excuse himself.
Yeah.
I did it so I could fund my scientific, investigations, and he just tells, "Oh God,
Yeah.
It's like he can't even be bothered with him. He just doesn't want him.
Yeah, he's just below worth
yes.
thinking about. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, the whole sort of CET machine is a bit sort of Carnival of Monsters-y, isn't it? That you've got this box which contains different worlds.
Yes.
So that's nice. The design is a little flat. But again, this is now, I think, where the money's starting to bite a bit, isn't it? And the trouble is, of course, is that they're saving a bit of money on this, and they're saving a bit of money on Horns of Nylon, so that they've got a lot of money left over to spend on Sharda.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately, had they known what was going to happen to Sharda, they could have spent it on these stories instead. But you never assume that things are going to fall apart like that. So, yeah, never mind. Sort of electronic effects are rather good.
Yes.
Because you're having all this sort of shifting sort of interface stuff. And this is like really early use of, I think it's a Quantel machine. But everybody thinks like sort of Quantel machines are just to like flip pictures over and stuff like that. But here they're making all sort of weird interference-y things and sort of stepping motion and on the movement and things like that. Because the bit where the cliffhanger where Tom disappears into just this sort of haze of light is actually was really hard to achieve. I think a year or two before you wouldn't have even been able to do it like that. So they're pushing the electronics on this. You've unfortunately got the problem with Tom falling out with Alan Bromley quite badly on studio.
Yes, what's the quote?
Is there a director up there or just a commentator or something like that?
Yes, I think actually, doesn't Graham Williams actually step in at that point and pay Alan Bromley off?
Depends on whose source you believe, I think. But I think it's fair to say there could well have been a credit for two directors if on this. Certainly, according to some sources. Again, I've never quite sort of gone through all who did what and when, but yes, trouble at mill, shall we say?
Yes. Well, the problem is when Tom Baker's not happy.
Everyone knows about it.
It's much like the late great Robert Hardy. That I know Peter Moffat always said you knew what kind of day you were going to have by what mood Robert Hardy was in when he arrived.
When he came in.
Yes, if he was cross when he arrived, it was going to be a bad day.
I mean, there are studio tapes for The Leisure Hive, and Tom's in a bit of a mood.
Yeah, I think he'd had a falling out with Lala. I think there's a lot of falling out in that.
But I think this would be nothing to what the studio tapes for Nightmare of Eden would be like if they existed. And I'm not aware of anything that. But here you've got the mandrill just falling apart. And it's a great effect.
It is.
It is really well done.
Alas, poor mandrill.
But the controls are all a bit sort of cheap and cheerful, I guess. But in some ways because they're all sort of like touch sensitive.
Yeah.
Well, actually, not even touch. There's a lot of just operating the controls, and in some ways, that's actually not too dissimilar to what you do on your phone these days.
It's not.
So again, maybe at the time it looked a bit cheap, but it's perhaps luckily it's turned out to be a bit more. What do you think of the guards' sparkly costumes?
I don't mind.
They're a bit glittery.
They're a bit glittery for whatever they're meant to be.
Yeah.
Sort of customs officers, aren't they?
Yeah.
I have to say that Romana's dress is appalling.
What is it?
It's a sort of smock thing. It just makes her look pregnant.
Maternity smock. Or...
That was my thought because we've been watching it as it goes along, and the bit after she faints, I saw the little insect comes out of the Eden slide, and she gets up and she's like, I felt a bit hot. I'm like, yeah, and you're pregnant, that's why you fainted. It's not terribly flattering.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
but mandrills, cute, Muppets.
They're sort of cute, Muppety sort of, they can't really do much, can they? Just stand there and go.
What is it? I love the one that sort of goes, sort of waves its arms about, and that's about it, really. Yeah, but they are. But then they're not. That's the thing. They're sort of there to scare the kids, but on the other end, I suppose you've got to feel a bit sorry for them because of their what they do in the plot. You know what the point of them is. So yeah, if they were really horrible, you wouldn't really care.
No, but you do kind of feel sorry because they've got sort of quite big eyes and they're quite sort of sweet.
So it's an interesting sort of thing to have to design, especially with not much money.
No.
So there you go. No. Right, finally, the Horrors of Nimon. Not Nimon.
Not Nimon.
And certainly not Nemo.
No.
The Horns of Nemo. But I'm very fond of the Horns of Nimon. I know some people don't like it.
Yes.
But it's Graham Crowden.
It's got Graham Crowden in it. Graham Crowden. I don't even know if he knew they were filming him when he filmed that last
Digging
scene.
a black hole on my doorstep.
Yes, he's just he's
dropped in.
It's just the way he's playing it. It's bizarre.
But have you ever seen Graham give a sensible performance? Really? Because isn't he in that Father Brown?
Oh God, yes. He's very large
in that. Has he got a samurai helmet on at one point or something?
Yes.
Is that the one with William Russell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which Father Brown's that? Kenneth More, is it?
Kenneth More, yes. And Raffles. I mean, never knowingly understated.
Oh, well, isn't he the Home Secretary in there?
And he's banging on the door because the door's locked, and it's me, the master. Not meaning the master; he's the master of the household. But yeah, and I think I want to describe him as so far over the top he's going to meet himself on the other side.
Yeah, another potential person to play the Doctor after Pertwee.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Graham Crowden as the fourth Doctor? And Tom Baker as the guest star in this? That would have been interesting.
Yes, yes. And of course you've got Janet Ellis.
Yes.
And Simon Gibbs Kent. And Malcolm Terrace and his trousers.
And his pants.
Yeah. Which you get to see a bit of.
Yay!
Because his trousers split and they just can't stop and start again. So he has to die with you seeing his pants.
I mean, there was the initial thought that the design of the Nimon was going to be they are actually masks, and they were going to take the mask off and reveal a hideous sort of shrunken head thing underneath it.
Yeah, and they went, no, we can't do that.
Well, no, they won't. We can't afford that. Actually,
it's much the same thing.
But who's the chap that turns up on the other planet?
Oh, John Bailey.
John Bailey, yes.
From Evil of the Daleks.
Yes.
Victoria's father.
Yeah.
And he's terribly sweet.
Yeah.
He always seems to play terribly sweet people.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, you've got sort of raiding the sort of myths and legends thing, and I quite enjoy that. I don't sort of actually know that much about the sort of Minotaur legend, really.
No, no, I know. I've not really read it. We've got Stephen Fry's book of Greek myth and legend. So whether there's something in there about the Minotaur or not, I don't know.
But the whole idea of it being a giant sort of computer circuit that switches is a great idea. I don't think it quite comes off again.
No.
And that's due to sort of production problems and design and things like that. I think you needed some shots sort of overhead, maybe, of this circuit's actually switching or something like that. I don't know quite how you do it, but
and all the generals are wonderfully batty with their big feather hats. And
what is it? Yeah, they're all sort of sitting on some steps, aren't they?
And then
they haven't even got chairs, have they?
They all go, but they're not very enthusiastic, are they? It's quite half-hearted.
Skolos.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's like, oh God, he wants us to do that again. Let's just sort of go through the motions. Yeah.
But again, there's some very nice effects where the body disintegrating again is really well pulled off, I think. You could question the TARDIS exploding sound effect, which has got like twanging rulers.
Twanging and boinging and...
Was it the singing, ringing, kaboinging tree, isn't it?
Kaplanking, kaboinging, whatever it is,
K9 being buried by his own computer tape with the sort of what's wrong with the TARDIS readout is quite fun, and the whole sort of thing about the asteroid coming towards the TARDIS, and then the TARDIS sort of rotating and being flung off. You know, that's not bad physics, I suppose. That's okay. And what was it? Doesn't the K9 get a rosette or something?
Yes.
The Doctor pins a rosette
for
on it.
best dog in show or something ridiculous.
I mean, Lala's in her hunting gear this time.
She looks good in that. Yeah, that's a great outfit.
I mean, of that season you were saying about some of it's a bit hit or miss, but I do like it when she's sort of got something quite doctory. So you've got the pink thing in Destiny, and this is the sort of swishy coat thing is quite doctory.
Yes.
So yeah, the idea that she's sort of taking sort of style notes from the Doctor and actually sort of turning it into
I think the mistake
something her own. You know.
The mistake in Creature from the Pit is trying to dress her too much like Mary Tam because she's not Mary Tam.
No.
And she should be treated as obviously it's a different,
But I always enjoy Horrors of Nylon. Again, it's a while since I've seen it, but it's people have said, well, it's Christmassy and it's sort of panto-y and all that, and it's not intended to be the last story of the season. That's the thing. When they're making the Horns of Nimon, they don't know Sharda's going to be cancelled.
No.
So it's the calm before the big one, I think.
Yes.
So it's not got the weight of ending a season on it at that point.
No, because it's not meant to be the end of the season.
No,
it's just a bit of fun.
But fun, and you can watch it for comedy, or you can watch it for ideas again, which is very Douglas Adams.
Or you can just watch it for Graham Crowden.
Oh, Graham Crowden, yes, indeed. Okay, well there you go. That's season 17 over and done. And season 18's just around the corner.
And what a change that is.
Bye-bye.
Bye.